Hey guys, this episode is a bit of a bonus episode I've been holding on to until some week it was appropriate, but since Geek 101 is wrapping up shortly, remember, don't unsubscribe from the feed. We got things going on. I'm just gonna go ahead and release this. It's a discussion about the movie Cats, and it's partly awe at the movie and partly just venting about what I saw. So have fun. Welcome to the Geek 101 podcast. Cats, the musical movie Cats. It's going to be a magical night. I'm Andy Bowman, and with me is special guest, friend of the show, and unironic Cats lover, Sean. How you doing, Sean?
Hey everyone.
So in order to keep from going insane, I needed to talk to somebody about this movie after watching it. Now, Sean, if you can just go ahead and I'm sure all of our listeners know in plenty of detail at least what the Cats trailer looked like and how bizarre and weird that was, and how this movie really doesn't have too much of a plot. So just go ahead and give us your initial impressions on the movie Cats.
Yeah, it's interesting. You mentioned like it doesn't have much of a plot. I really have no idea what this movie is about. Like, I really couldn't tell you what exactly is going on in this movie, but it's I unironically love this movie. I think it's beautiful. I love it.
Okay, so for those of you who somehow don't know and have missed it, Cats was a movie directed by Oscar award-winning director Tom Hooper, who did such movies as The King's Speech and Les Miserables, or Les Mis if you're uppity about about actual pronunciations. This was supposed to be the next big movie musical, the next big kind of Oscar buzzworthy movie, and instead, just due to the way it looks, the way the movie fits together, the way the movie sounds, it's become one of these movies like The Room or the Rocky Horror Picture Show, where people love, hate, and love hate it. As Sean will get into, he unironically loves it, and I feel it is an experience that each and every one of you listeners, please go VOD. You're stuck in the house for a few weeks, maybe a few months. This movie will be a magical special night for you to watch, and we should probably try to explain as much about the movie as possible, because it's so bizarre and so otherworldly. But we have the main character Cat early on. In the first scene, is thrown out of a car window in a sack, lands on the streets, and she comes out of her sack, her little burlap sack, and immediately enters into the first musical song. So, Sean, how do you feel about the music in this?
I think I like the music. Like, I had never really listened to the music, or I've definitely never seen the show, but I really like it. I've heard some people say that the only good song is Memory, which I don't like that song, really. I had heard that song. I don't like that song, but I like pretty much all the other music, so I guess I really am just the opposite of like everyone else on this movie. I don't understand why everyone just hates this movie so much. But yeah, the music is really good. The choreography, I think, is great. Um, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. There are so many things about this movie that is good and that people poured their heart and soul into. So
yeah, I totally agree.
So right off the top of my head, one of the first things about the movie is the set design is beautiful and meticulous. Even if it's not consistent in the size.
Yeah, that is. Like there's like angles and things that don't really match up. Yeah.
There's one scene where the cats are about the height of a bar stool, and then another scene where they're almost as tall as the railroad tracks.
Right. Yeah.
It gives you this weird Alice in Wonderland feeling of a world that just doesn't quite fit. Anything that you establish in your head as being, you try to anchor to reality. This movie will quickly screw up. But the main cat, Victoria, she comes out of the sack, and all these cats all around her introduce themselves as jellicles, and we'll discuss what jellicles actually means. But she meets some few other cats, and the cats, through song, they introduce themselves. One of them is Mr. Mistopheles. They talk about this beautiful ball that's happening tonight, where essentially a cat will be chosen to commit ritual suicide. And be granted a new life. So that immediately sets up with what the goal is and what the stakes are. This jellicle ball will happen, and one of these cats will be chosen to basically maybe die. Like they don't really know. I believe they call it going to the heavenside layer. Heaviside, yeah. And that they will be granted a new life. So it's kind of this weird, like, Hunger Games thing, right out of the box, where all these cats are competing for the chance to live the life that they want, and all these other cats, all of them will have to continue on with either their great posh lives or their terrifying existences. And essentially the movie from that point is a set of vignettes meeting all these different cats. You get their names, which are amazing, from Rum Tum Tugger to Bustopher Jones.
Skimble Shanks.
Yeah, Skimble Shanks. My favorite, though, is a character that I believe was added for the movie, played by why can't I think of his name? Ray Winstone, and it's Growl Tiger.
Growl Tiger, yeah.
Ray Winstone, Winstone, whatever you want to call him, has like two lines that he kind of William Shatner style sing talks.
Yeah.
It's such a bizarre movie, but I keep getting ahead of myself, but there's nothing to like ground a discussion of this because the movie jumps around like crazy, but we are introduced to a villain played by Idris Elba named McCavity the Mystery Cat. And McCavity is a magical Batman-like figure. Always on the top of the buildings around London. I believe this takes place in London because they have the Thames right there. But there are wanted posters for McCavity all around. He is what was the line? He has broken every law.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they say something along the lines of he has broken every law of man. Like, So basically, this cat has murdered people and is probably a pedophile.
Yeah, he's embezzled millions of dollars.
Yeah, he's done tons of like small white collar crimes too, just to do them.
Yeah.
Jaywalks when everyone's looking.
I was about to say that. He's just all the time jaywalking, just all the time.
This movie is just so bizarre, but okay. Now, Sean, this movie is based on a musical, which is based on a old book of poems.
Right.
Okay, Sean, were you a theater kid? And did you like theater or musicals in general?
Not really. I did in college. I did a little acting, but nothing major. I had like one class, and I had a couple small parts in plays, but yeah, not really. I'm really not that big of a fan of musicals. There's a few I really like. Fiddler on the Roof. I really enjoy that one. But Jesus Christ Superstar, that's another good one. But yeah, I really can't explain my love. I love cats, I guess, like actual cats. I don't know if that kind of explains it, but
okay. So your love of cats, there's a scene where Rebel Wilson strips out of her cat skin to reveal that underneath she has another cat skin on.
Clothes on.
Yes, like, and clothes. I am just constantly so confused. There are so many hyper sexualized scenes where with Rebel Wilson or Dame Judi Dench spreading their legs and just suggestively meowing.
Yeah, that is bizarre. Yeah, this movie is so weird.
It's beautiful though. It's beautiful.
And Sir Ian McKellen is he is doing something so obscenely bizarre in this movie. I can't even begin to understand it. Like there is like no frame. You can't like pause it anywhere where he's in the frame and where he doesn't look ridiculous. Like it's
not only does Sir Ian McKellen look ridiculous, but he is taking this seriously. There is a scene where he laps milk from a bowl. And Dame Judi Dench, I don't know why, she has a ring on her hand. Her human hands. She has a ring, and it looks like they just gave her a big fur coat and then told her to CGI everything else in.
Yeah, I think that's probably what happens.
But we meet these various cats. Jenny Anydots, played by Rebel Wilson, who gives this amazing synchronized song and dance. And when I say synchronized, the dancers are mice and cockroaches that she has trained, and these mice and cockroaches have human faces.
That happens. That is the thing that happens.
And she eats a few of them while this song and dance is going on. It is the strangest David Lynchian experience.
It's like something from Naked Lunch or something.
Yeah, absolutely. It is bizarre. She has very clearly trained these mice to perform musical numbers under the threat of being eaten, but she still eats them.
Yeah, well, she at the beginning before it starts, she says dinner and a show. So.
Now, No, Sean. There's a moment when she does this where she pulls up something pink and is using it as a microphone.
And then she uses her tail too.
Right. I have theorized that what she is holding is like the intestines of some rats she has killed.
Oh God.
But I have another theory. And what she's actually holding is the thing that they were supposed to CGI her tail onto.
Oh, okay.
But the like post-production team completely forgot about it. So she's just holding like the equivalent of like a green screen stick.
Yeah.
Right? If you've ever seen Ian McKellen acting across the Balrog, which is just a tennis ball on a stick, like I think that's what actually happened. This movie is also famous for getting a day one patch after its first weekend off, where they had to fix the CGI even further.
I don't even know how that's even possible. Like when I heard that, I was just like, I did not even know that was a thing that could be done.
Yeah. Sean, have you heard about the butthole cut?
Yes, I heard about that.
Right. So about like a week or two ago, a rumor popped up that there was something called the butthole cut, where, and this is what the rumor is. I'll tell you what the reality of it is, or what the supposed reality is. But where, if anyone has ever had a cat, you see that cat's butthole all the time. That cat shows you its butthole constantly. And the rumor was that they had CG'd real buttholes into all of the cats and then decided to take them out at the last minute. And that is the butthole cut, is cuts with real assholes. Now, Sean, if this really did exist, and I'll tell you the truth about it in a bit, but if this really did exist, do you think they would use cat buttholes, or do you think they would go the extra step further and use human buttholes?
Yeah, I thought about this actually, because it's weird because they have like human boobs and butts.
Yes.
So I guess they would be human buttholes.
Right. My waifu, who I have never met, but I'm going to, Taylor Swift, is in this movie, and she has distinct human feminine features.
Yes.
But anyway, what the butthole cut actually was, Sean, and this is somehow even funnier. They had to get a team to go through and make sure that there weren't spots where the fur on the coats or their costumes that they were wearing underneath all the CGI. At some points, they were like, the seams lined up in such a way where it looked like either female genitalia or a butthole. So, so they had to actually go through almost frame by frame and discuss which areas to touch up. Now, I just really want you to imagine the meeting that had to be like, there was a team of people on this. They had to communicate with each other. They had to be like, hey, does this look like some female genitalia?
No.
And I need to stress, there are scenes where Dame Judi Dench is scissoring the air with her legs. Multiple
so
cats. Weird. They like say hello or show appreciation to each other by doing the thing that cats do, which is rub their cheeks on things.
Yeah, that's there's a couple of times where that's like kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah. This is an incredibly horny movie, and I don't know why. So anyway, Jenny Anydots, played by Rebel Wilson, leads this terrifying, like almost like a Hitler Youth march of cockroaches with human faces. It's terrifying. Then we meet Rum Tum Tugger, which do you Do you have any feelings about Rum Tum Tugger?
Yeah, I really like this part. That's one of my favorite parts, I think.
Yeah. Jason Derulo plays him. Now, Jason Derulo did claim that they CGI shrank his mail package.
Okay, yeah.
That like this was a thing during press. He's like, yeah, they shrank my junk. Yeah. And anyway, these musical numbers are so much fun. Please, if you're really not interested in the movie, just watch these musical numbers on YouTube. Like, it is just bizarre. But then we meet some other characters. One of them is Bustopher Jones, played by James Corden. And I also want to talk about McCavity shows up after these cats have done their song and dance. He shows up, and then like Thanos snaps them into dust. We don't know what happens, but he also says like a 1-word or 2-word catchphrase after he does it, like magic, and then snaps his fingers, and like Rebel Wilson just turns into dust. Right? She does the I'm not feeling too good, Mr. Stark, and vanishes. So we meet these characters. They are quickly killed for the most part in unexplained ways by a super sexy Idris Elba, who just comes down and then will say something like magnanimous. It's so bizarre. James Corden's song was fine. There was a lot of James Corden hate around this movie. I really don't hate James Corden.
I don't really have any feelings about him one way or the other, to be honest.
Right. I don't particularly love him, but I also don't hate him. We then meet Skimbleshanks, who's the
railway cat. Yeah.
Oh man, that is a great little number where they're going through the train. We meet Gus, who's Ian McKellen, the aged theater cat who's played some of the biggest roles in history, which is totally like, I mean, it's Ian McKellen, and he is playing a cat who had some of the biggest roles.
He's basically the Ian McKellen cat.
Yeah. Oh man. It's just like, no, Gandalf, what are you doing?
He's just, like I said, I don't know what he is doing in this movie, but it is just so, you have to see it for yourself. Just to, like, every frame, like I said, he looks like a goofball in every.
Yeah, he looks like an old-timey hobo.
He does.
Then we meet a character who is in a completely different movie, Jennifer Hudson, played Grisabella the cat, who was used by McCavity in some way. Like, they really imply that basically, like, she is a fallen woman.
Yeah, I think it's sort of implied that she's. I think like the illusion they're going for is she's kind of like fallen into sex work. I think is kind of like what they're implying. I don't know. I could be totally wrong, but I kind of feel like.
Well, I think based on what T Swift ends up doing later, I think she got addicted to drugs.
Mm.
McCavity took her down the dark side, used and abused her, and then just ditched her. So there's a great, like, a little weird morality thing there.
Yeah.
And Jennifer Hudson, amazing, beautiful Jennifer Hudson, clearly thinks that she is in Les Mis. She is giving 1,000% to everything she does. It is so baffling. Like someone did not inform her what this movie was trying to be, but in its own way, it works even better because she's just amazing. And she is like always crying. It's just it's wonderful. Let's talk about some of the other cats, though. Oh yes, okay. This one, these two cats sing a song together that it almost feels like a deconstruction of what a song should be because they're almost about to rhyme, but they never do. And that's Mungo Jerry and Rumple Teaser.
I like this part a lot too.
Yes. Mungo Jerry and Rumple Teaser. It's the song's like Mungo Jerry and Rumple Teaser. Like it's so weirdly offbeat.
It's very kind of has like a beatnik kind of feel.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a slam, almost like slam poetry.
Yeah. They find Victoria and they're like, hey, follow us. And they go around and they basically just wreck somebody's house. And then a dog that we never see, by the way, which really makes you wonder about what if there is a part of this movie where that dog is there and what that dog looks like.
I was disappointed they didn't show it. I wanted to see, like, is it just a regular dog or does
Right. Okay. In my head, it's Liam Neeson. Right?
As like an old bloodhound.
Yeah. Just I don't know who you are. I have a very specific set of skills. Skills that make me a nightmare for cats like you. However, these skills do not involve opening a door. And the main cat, Victoria, is left behind by Mungo Jerry and Rumple Teaser. Because they only care about themselves, and she is saved by Mr. Mistopheles, who is such an amazing character. And
she is incredibly horny for him after this.
Oh yeah. And he pulls a bone out of a hat, like a chicken bone or a turkey bone, and just throws it, and that's how they get away from the dog. And you would think after all this talking that we would be most of the way done with the movie, but
this is like 40 minutes into it,
Yeah. This movie is so fast. Like the pace is just incredible. We also find out at that point where McCavity has been magicking the cats. He's been magicking them to a steamship, and on that steamship is Growl Tiger, again played by Ray Winston, who I believe he is voicing Taskmaster in Black Widow.
I think that's right. Yeah.
He has a role for Black Widow that I don't think's been confirmed, but in my head he's voicing Taskmaster.
Or is he the? Did you hear? Like I just heard from like Slash Film that. I mean, this is obviously off topic, but they like back in the first Avengers movie, they were talking about like Loki is like mentioning like kind of implies like she killed some people, and is it Drago? It's like something about Drago's daughter. The name might be right, but whatever the name is he apparently like Drago is in Black Widow. Like,
okay, yeah, I just pulled up the Wikipedia. Yeah.
Okay.
Ray Winston is playing Draco or Drakov. I'm not sure. It's Russian. The head of the Red Room. So that could be really interesting. But and that fits him. The dude's voice could be Taskmaster. The dude himself could not be Taskmaster.
Right. Yeah. He's not really in. He's not really in the shape to play Taskmaster.
Yeah. And I think he's like 70.
He's up there. Yeah, he's
Okay,
been
he's
around a
63.
while.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he has a song that is, I mentioned earlier, it's like 2 lines of a almost William Shatner style song, which, by the way, William Shatner, about 7 years ago now, released an album. It's him doing like Bohemian Rhapsody, and it's fantastic. Give that a shot. Listen to it. It's William Shatner.
I think he has a couple of them. I think he's done a couple.
Yeah, he's done a couple, but this one is just like he does Iron Man by Black Sabbath.
Right. I heard that on YouTube a while ago.
Yeah, it's fascinating. But anyway, he like McCavity has put them on this boat to keep them from going to the Jellicle Ball, so McCavity can be the only one to do the Jellicle Ball. And keep in mind, they're all doing this so they can die.
Yeah, it's strange. It's unusual.
Yeah, again, they are not confirming that they died, but I mean, come on, this is.
Well, they said they're reborn, so
right.
I'm pretty sure it literally says they'll be reborn. So,
right. And, anyway, we meet Dame Judi Dench as Old Deuteronomy, who, much like Ian McKellen, just does not belong here. It really feels like Judi Dench refused to. It looks like she refused to take off a ring. Like, she has a ring on one of her hands. And by the way, most of the cats, their hands have been CGI'd in a way where they're mostly furry. Judi Dench's hands are almost entirely human.
Right. I noticed that when I was watching it again.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And Judi Dench is the Old Deuteronomy, is the cat who gets to make the choice over who wins the Jellicle Ball. She is the leader. She is beautiful. This part is perfect for her. It is just so weird how sexualized she is.
It's like watching it again and like seeing how sexualized she is just mind-boggling. Yeah. Like, I don't know if I haven't really read a whole lot about like how the actors feel about the movie, but I don't know if she necessarily agreed to that or what, but
Judi Dench is horny. So all this happens, and when they get to the Jellicle Ball, T Swift comes down as like the most furrified, like sexualized humanoid feminine cat. Like, she has curves, really uncomfortable curves.
Yeah.
I feel so uncomfortable talking about this, but her cat's name is Bombalurina. And she is in league with McCavity, and all she does is like go down and just dumps catnip on the entire ball. How did
help? I like this part a lot too. I didn't think I would like her part, but I really like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like Taylor Swift as a musician, and this feels like an homage to a movie that just came out last year, but Gaspar Noé's Climax, which is about a French dance troupe that accidentally gets spiked with LSD.
I still haven't seen it yet. Is it good?
It's an experience.
Okay, I haven't seen much from him. I've seen Love, the one that's basically porn.
Yeah,
I saw that one. I don't know if I should admit that that's the only one I watched, but it was on Netflix. That's why I watched it, yeah. Just so everyone knows.
Right next to Nymphomaniac Volumes 1 and 2.
Yeah, I have seen Volume 1 of that.
Yeah, me too. Gaspar Noé is so, like I highly recommend it, but it is just such a bizarre movie. It's a movie that I can't just recommend it without any like caveats. I have to be like, no. This is a movie about a bunch of people on acid dancing these beautifully choreographed dance scenes, but also they are on so many mind-altering drugs, and it goes to horror really quick. It's uncomfortable a lot. Definitely watch it, but by my discussion already if this movie appeals to you or not. Like,
I think it does appeal to me. I need to just sit down and watch it. I would like to go through his filmography, but yeah,
it's heavy, man. It's like going through a Darren Aronofsky.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So all the cats get drugged, and they just go around, and then and they just go around being drugged and incredibly horny, and it's just uncomfortable. And old Deuteronomy gets Thanos snapped away by McCavity, who
we should say why McCavity wants to be the Jellicle choice, the person the cat that goes off to the Heaviside layer to be reborn.
Right.
And and he wants to be the chosen one, and she refuses because and her whole song is about how he is an outlaw. And is this where they say the part about he's broken all the laws of man?
Yes.
Or okay, yeah. So this is where they tell us that he's guilty of murder and all that stuff, and so he wants to be the choice, and she refuses. So yeah, he Thanos snaps her away to the barge on the River Thames along with Jenny Anydots and Buster Jones.
Right. Now, also, like I think he wants to be reborn so he can live a life without being hunted.
Like, yeah, I would imagine that's why. Yeah. That's the thing about this movie is that it doesn't give you a lot of. You kind of have to. Yeah, you kind of have to infer what the motivations are. But yeah, I think that's. Yeah. I think that's pretty obvious. He wants to be.
Right. I think from this moment on, though, Idris Elba has taken off his clothes, so he is now just a black cat. Like he's just wearing his birthday skin suit. Keep in mind, every other character at this point has clothes and outfit. Actually, Jenny Anydots doesn't, or not Jenny. Victoria the White
Victoria.
Yeah. But for the most part, he was in like a Dark Man from a Sam Raimi's Dark Man, or a Dick Tracy style like hat and overcoat, and then now he's just naked.
That's so weird.
He is naked. He is upset, and we cut back to where he's basically making old Deuteronomy walk the plank into the River Thames. And Jenny, this is I still cannot believe that they put this in. Jenny Anydots, Rebel Wilson, and Buster Jones, and I believe Rumpelshanks too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. They're like chained.
Skimbleshanks.
Yes. Sorry, Rumpelteazer is a different cat. They are like chained to a portion of this barge, so they cannot leave. And Rebel Wilson's character does something that was alluded to in the movie, which means this was not a dream sequence. She takes off her skin again to like shimmy out of the chains. So
that's her thing. That's her power.
Right. I just she unzips herself and shimmies out of these chains, these heavy chains, lets them out, and then they beat up Ray Winston. And I mean they pretty much kill Ray Winston. Like they push him into the river.
Cats don't like water, so
yeah. And then there's this beautiful, beautiful scene with my favorite song from the movie, where they are trying to figure out how to get old Deuteronomy back from, because they don't know where Macavity Thanos snapped her away. And old Deuteronomy, and Mr. Mistopheles is a kind of a cheap magician,
street magician.
Yeah. And there's this beautiful song where they really, all the cats come together to have faith that Mr. Mistopheles can bring her back. What did you think of this moment? This was actually emotional for me.
Yeah, it's I like this part a lot too. It is. It's really emotional. I think it's one of the, except for which we'll get to in a minute, the other performance. It's really powerful. This is maybe one of the most powerful parts of the movie for me.
Yeah. All right. And old Deuteronomy, of course, comes back after multiple failed attempts, which is really, really great. They do a good job of like making you be like, okay, now it's going to happen. No, not yet. Then Grisabella, Jennifer Hudson, I forgot what her character is called, like what she is. She's Grisabella the cat. She comes back in, and it's a beautiful, beautiful ballad. And maybe Sean, since this moment was important, why don't you go ahead and explain what happens?
When Grisabella comes back.
Yeah.
So she's kind of been like lurking around, and like I think she even gets chased out at one point earlier in the film. But she Victoria sees her, and she goes and gets her and brings her into the theater and urges her to sing, and that's where she sings Memory, which is, if you know this musical at all, you know that song. And yeah, it's really great. It's like I said earlier, I'm not a huge fan of the song itself, but she gives a great performance of it. It's beautiful.
One thing I will say, Sean, do you know where I know Memory from? And I believe a lot of people who listen to this podcast probably know Memory from.
Not off the top of my head.
Okay.
No.
The two lines of Memory that appear in School of Rock, the movie with Jack Black.
Oh, right.
That I was finally like, oh, this is that song, the song that the girl who went on to play the sister in Drake and Josh on from School of Rock with Jack Black was on. Okay, so that's where I know this song from. Anyway, yeah, this is just a beautiful, powerful, emotional moment, especially when old Deuteronomy pretty much has to tell Gus, like, no, you're not the Jellicle choice.
Right.
And Grisabella becomes the Jellicle choice. She gets to be renewed, and she gets in the hot air balloon and soars off to her death. And one last thing happens, Sean, while she's soaring off to her death.
Yeah, Macavity, he doesn't like the choice, so he tries to grab on, and then of course he falls off. He grabs onto one of the ropes, and he falls off.
Right. Now, I believe he says Macavity as he jumps off the building to grab the rope, and he is then knocked off this hot air balloon contraption and is stuck on top of a giant statue, and he has no magic. For some reason, he has lost his magic, and he is naked still.
Still naked. Yep.
And it's that we find out what the Jellicle cats means. Sean, do you want to wrap this up by spoiling?
You go ahead.
Yeah. It means dear little.
Right.
It's apparently making fun of how T.S. Eliot's like niece or something, who's very young, said "dear little cat." Jellicle. It is quite a stretch, but maybe it isn't so much of a stretch for a 19th century Englishman.
Have you read the poems at all?
No.
Yeah, I was never a T.S. Eliot guy.
God. But that is this movie. Like, again, this discussion was all over the place. This movie is also all over the place.
Very much so.
It is a movie to watch. I really wish I had gone to one of the Alamo Drafthouse showings that encouraged and allowed talking.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Did you hear about this, Sean? That Alamo Drafthouse actually had 2 showings.
Yeah, I think I did hear about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So they actually had a rowdy showing that really just encourages, the screaming and the yelling, and you will be screaming what the entire time, but you know what? You will probably be enjoying yourself.
I think so. I think even if you hate the movie, I think it's a fun watch. I mean, I can't imagine that you just that. Well, I mean, I guess some people would. So I can't imagine.
Ariel would hate
that most
every
people
second of it because Ariel hates things that give people joy.
He does. Ariel likes like 4 things.
Oh man, yeah. I am so happy that this is already out on VOD. I missed my chance to go see it in theaters, and I've been chomping at the bit to see it. It lives up to whatever hype it is you have about it. Please take some time to go see it. If you are quarantining, make sure you have a Skype call or something with some friends and have them watch it at the same time, because you will need to talk to people. You will need to express things to other human beings while you watch this.
Yes, it's the perfect time to watch it. Yeah. You have no excuse not to watch it.
All right. So Sean, what's your score for Cats?
I go A-.
A-. Yeah. I have got to give it a B+. I can't give it an A- because I think that this movie is failing to do whatever Tom Hooper was trying to do. I think it failed.
That is true.
But I think it's better than whatever Tom Hooper could have made it.
How do you feel about his movies?
They're overblown for the most part.
I think I've only seen The King's Speech, and I do not care for that movie at all.
Right. Yeah. I saw The King's Speech. Weirdly enough, though, this is super weird. His take on his Dark Materials, The Golden Compass, because he also did that TV show that came on the BBC this year.
Wait, what? Not the HBO one?
Well, it was an HBO BBC big.
Oh, okay.
Dual thing. So, but yeah, that was his baby. He's the one who is pushing for that. He directed 2 of those episodes. He has been pushing for it. I overall really, really liked his Dark Materials. Okay,
I'll have to check that. Yeah, I think I watched the pilot, and it was. I never got. Things happened, and I just didn't get back to it. But
right.
Yeah, I think the pilot was pretty interesting because go ahead.
Sorry, it works really well. The first season doesn't come together until the last episode, and then you realize what's going on. And my wife has read the books, and she says it's a very accurate adaptation of the books, and you are supposed to hate the main character, Daphne Keane from Logan. Yeah, but I really liked it, and I'm super excited for season 2.
Yeah, I'll try to check it out while everything's closed. Yeah, I think I enjoyed the pilot. Yeah, because that movie, man, that movie is. I have not read the books, and I remember like walking out of that movie and just thinking like thinking that if I had read the book, maybe I would have understood what the hell was going on. But because I have no idea like what was happening in that movie. But yeah, I watched the pilot, and I remember thinking it was pretty solid. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that was Tom Hooper. Like Tom Hooper's was part of the big pushing force for this. So he does some good things, but yeah, his prestige movies that he like makes, and he's been like quoted as saying like, well, yeah, you have to make a movie to try to get an Oscar. Why would you not do it?
He's
yeah.
I've read a yeah, I was about to say that. I've read a few quotes from him, and yeah, he sounds really really snobby, pretentious. Yeah.
So maybe this is like knocked him off his high horse a little bit.
Well, that's good.
Maybe. I can only hope. After winning as many Razzies as it did.
Yeah, I heard it pretty much swept at the Razzies.
Oh man. Just a quick side note. One of my favorite things was the Joker was actually nominated for a Razzie.
That makes me happy. Have you still not seen it?
Oh, I've seen it. I've seen it.
Okay.
But the category of the reward of the award that the Joker was nominated for was oh god, I've got to find it. It's such a hilarious name for a category. It was of course I've got to. So yes, worst reckless disregard for human life and public property.
Did it actually win?
No, Rambo: Last Blood won.
Oh, I haven't seen that. I wanted to see that, but it got some pretty less than stellar reviews. And
yeah. Anyway, man, thanks for coming on. Do you have any homework?
Yeah, I'll recommend something really quick. Something. It's not super long, so it's not going to fill a lot of time while you're quarantined. But there's a new show on Netflix. I Am Not Okay with This, with Sophia Lillis. Is that her name? Yeah, from It, and and Sharp Objects, and yeah, it's really good. It's very Carrie-esque. It kind of has a so if you liked her in the Stephen King adaptation It, here's another thing. It's I guess it's actually based on a comic book, is what I heard. Not one that I'm familiar with, but it's very. It has a lot of vibes from something like Carrie. So it's really short. I think it's like 7 episodes, and all the episodes are like max like 28 minutes. That's like the longest one is 28 minutes, and most of them are like 21 or 22 minutes. I watched it all in like 2.5 hours. So
yeah, that
like I said, it's not gonna.
That was the thing that made me interested in it. Was it's not 10 hour long episodes. This is just 7 20-minute episodes and then done.
It's basically it's like watching a movie, more or less. You can watch it all in, like I said, less than 3 hours. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. So I think everyone should check it out.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think we're gonna end there. Sean, do you want to plug your pluggables? Anything you want to plug?
You can look me up on Facebook. No one ever does. I don't think anyone's ever done it yet, but
well, people haven't really looked me up on Facebook either. I think Facebook is a weird thing where people be like, who is this person? Why would all right, but you can find me on Twitter at Hebrews Pale Ale, and you can find the podcast wherever podcasts are sold at geek101podcast.com or whatever. All right, that's all we have for today. Class is dismissed.